Hello students, welcome to the class for distributed systems. I am Abhishek Sharma, Assistant Professor CSE. Today going to discuss distributed file systems. So in this distributed file systems, today's session we are going to cover what are distributed file systems, why is it required, and how can we access the files or data stored in file in distributed environment. So first of all, we define distributed file systems. In distributed file systems, we have to implement a common file system that can be shared by all autonomous computers. All autonomous computers means all the systems in distributed environment or in a distributed system that performs distributed computing. That means a user cannot know from where the work is get processed and how it is processing. It do not know the location or actual location of a processor which are computing for that. System feels that it is itself working, and the goals to achieve in distributed file systems are primarily two goals. One is the network transparency. It states that the system which is accessing the files could feel that the files and the data are stored within its memory, but in actual the data may be stored at distant system or at a server or at a distant location, or you can say remote location. To achieve this coherency, it is also called coherent image. This is the goal to achieve in distributed file system that can be achieved by only means of accessing the files in such a way that system feels that it is using its own memory. And second objective and goal is the high availability. It indicates that ease of accessing the files should be implemented in an effective manner such that files can be transferred, accessed easily in distributed environment. So these are the two goals that has to be met in the form of objective. And further, if we discuss about the architecture used in distributed file system, it uses two architectural level, or in the form of two architectural options we can say. One is the fully distributed. It is just simple, like files are located or files are associated with each processor or each system in the form of its memory, but this could not be effective because there are certain issues like performance issues, implementation complexity issues in accessing the files and in mode of in communicating with each other. So the second option, that is the client server model, is widely used in this scenario for accessing the files. In this client server model, there are two terms, one is the client and one is the file server. So client is that processor or that site which requests to access the file which is stored at a file server. So file server maintains the files, and that means maintains the data in the form of files, and client is that which want to access the file. So client can only request to the file server to access the data. That means client can access the data from a remote location that can be stored in our server named as file server. Okay, so can we define file server now? Yes. So file server is now dedicated site storing files, perform storage and retrieval operations, while rest of the sites or processor we can say are acting as a client which use servers to access the files or which send their request to the server to access the files. So this one is the diagrammatic view of client server architecture that is most widely used in our distributed computing environment. So in this diagram you can see that one is the client and one is the server. Client is associated with server via mode of network, that is the communication network. So there is a mode of communication network between the client and the server. That means client can communicate to the server via network. That is the mode of communication here. And another thing you are watching, that there is a word cache associated with the client and client is called the client cache memory, and the cache associated with the server is called the server cache memory. So this cache memory is required to do the ease of access, and we can say to access in a faster time of response or in a faster mode of execution. Also client can maintain a local disk, and also server can maintain a disk where data are stored. So this is the general architecture, or you can say that general scenario for this client server architecture. In next slide we can discuss it in detail. Coming to the next slide, there are the following services which are provided by the distributed systems. Like first service is provided by the distributed file system is the name server, or we can simply say a name. Generally, whenever a client requests to the server for accessing of data or for accessing of file, a mapping mechanism is needed or required to resolve the client query, client request into objects equivalent to file and directories. Because data is stored in the form of a file or in the form of a directory, that may be the hierarchical structure, so we are using the word directory. Once a client sends the request to access the data stored, that is either in the form of file or directory, so mapping is required, or a mechanism called mapping, which is associated with the name resolution. That means to map the particular request into the file and directory where actual data is stored, which client want to access. So this is the first mechanism we required, or first service we required in client server architecture, that is the mapping, also called as namespace somewhere or name server. Then a word, there is cache manager. So what this cache manager do? Cache manager performs the function of caching, as it is associated with the cache memory at both sides, that is at the client and at the server. So if we talk about at caching at the client, whenever a client references a file at server, or you can say that whenever a client accessing a file that is stored at server, so a copy of data can be brought or can be copied, data can be copied temporarily at a memory. That memory is called the cache memory of client side or client cache memory. So further client can access the data from that cache memory or temporarily memory. Similarly, caching at the server side, so file saved in temporary memory to reduce the subsequent access time, because permanent storage or stable storage is the hard disk or magnetic disk where data is permanently stored. If client want to access data, we can make a copy of data in temporary memory, that is the cache memory of the server. The use and benefit of this cache memory at the server is that one can easily retrieve the data from the server cache memory, so the time to access the data is required less while we are using cache memory at the server side. So to reduce the time or access time, cache memory is widely used in client server architecture. This is the role of the caching manager. So is it clear about the name server and the cache manager? Okay. And one of the issue arise, and one of the difficulty we can say with this cache memory is that different cache copies of data can become inconsistent. So we can say that a coordination between a client and server cache memory is required, that is coordination for both the sides are required. So this is the concept about the service about provided by the distributed file system. Now we can see how can data is accessed, or the flow chart of accessing the data in a client and server file architecture. In this flow chart you can see that on the left side client is there and on the right side server is there. So initially it makes a request, then first it client cache memory, that whether the data which wants to access is present in the cache memory or not. If the data is present in the cache memory, it simply return output to the client. It simply return output to the client. Else, if data is not present in this cache memory, then it checks with the local disk associated with the client cache. If data is present there, then again it returns the output to the client. Else, if data is not present, then it sends a request to the file server. It sends a request to the file server. On sending a request to the file server via a communication network, now request is arrived at the server side. So on accepting the request or on receiving the request, what server do? Server checks first in its cache memory. Now here we are checking in the cache memory of server. If data is present, it simply return the output to the client, and if data is not present there, it again check into the permanent storage. That means it is reading the disk or checking in permanent storage, then fetch the data from there and again load it into server cache and again return back it to the client cache. So this is the scenario of accessing the data in client and a file server architecture. In this scenario or in this flowchart, it is depicted that how client can access the data from the server, and the role of the cache memory is also explained. So I hope now it is clear how to access the data in a client file server architecture. So this one is about the session. Now in the next session or in the next lecture, we can discuss about the various design issues of distributed file systems. What are the various design issues in distributed file system, and what could be the mechanisms to build up a client server architecture. So this one is all about for today. Thank you all.